Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Glad you guys are joining me today. Today is going to be the second installment working on the Yard Machines MTD. I'll be doing some electrical troubleshooting today. Last time we just were trying to see if we could get the motor to fire up and weren't able to do it with the key switch. There's something electrical going on, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more. If you guys are new to the channel, I appreciate you checking it out. And those that have checked out my other videos, I really appreciate it. If you guys do like this kind of content, make sure to hit a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos, and leave me a comment if you guys want to see something. So I went ahead and I've already taken the cover loose here because I did a little bit of looking last time, and the starter solenoid should be underneath of this panel. That way we can start looking into that, see if maybe it's the solenoid, maybe the fuse, and we can start looking at some of the safety switches on here. But I'll get you guys set up on the tripod and I'll get the multimeter out and we'll get started. Alright, so I went ahead and hooked up the jumper pack, and just want to make sure we got 12 volts going into our battery wires. I got 12.36 on that, and water pours out of the seat all over the solenoid. Perfect. So this one on here is a 3-post solenoid. I'll show you guys real quick. So there is just a positive that's coming off from where the battery would be. Then there's another positive wire that goes on this side of the solenoid down to the starter, and then here is another. This is the signal wire, which sends 12 volts to the solenoid, which makes contact between the two wires and makes its way down to the starter. And then we just have our fuse right here, which is a 20 amp. So I'm just going to check and see if we're getting continuity through the fuse, which it has these two little openings at the top of a fuse where you can check to see if you have continuity, which I'm not showing any. So our meter's good. Alright, so our fuse is good. We don't have to take that out necessarily. Let's see, what do we want to do next here? Just to make sure that we're getting, see if we're getting 12 volt signal to, I think what I'm going to do is try to use our ground on the actual ground cable, if I can. And we'll see if we're getting anything to the key switch or anything from so we got 12 volts from, we got 12.3738 on the lead that's coming from the jumper pack. And then we're not getting anything from the key switch signal. But I do remember the other day that we had 12 volts on, yeah, so we're getting 12 volts to the key switch. So I think there's something that's interrupting our signal to the starter solenoid. So let me, I'm just going to take a quick look over these safety switches on here and see if I see anything wrong, like maybe they're not even depressed or what, and then we'll kind of just go from there. Alright, so looking over this for a few minutes, I think I figured out what's going on. I'm trying to get you guys in here so you can see it. But there is the plunger right there that is going to the brake, and it's kind of slipping off from it. And what I've noticed is the tab that it mounts up to, I know it's extremely filthy, is bent upwards, so it's not making contact with the brake like it's supposed to. So that could be the issue. I know the guy that I got this from, he had put a new solenoid in here and also a new starter. So that safety switch right there is probably going to be our culprit. So let me see. I think what I'm going to do is try to disconnect it and see if I can bend that tab back down and get it in the right position. That way the brake pedal's working like it's supposed to. And then we'll see if we got some action with our key switch. Alright y'all, so here's where I'm at. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but where this safety switch mounts, the frame is like totally bent, and I'm going to have to do some work on getting that just in the right position, because if the brake goes down too far, it actually goes past where the switch needs to be, and then when you try to release it, it actually locks up against the tab of the switch, and it's just binding and it's causing all kinds of problems. So for now, I just pulled the switch and I just have it zip tied in to bypass. And then once I had that, I was getting the starter solenoid to click, but it wasn't actually sending full voltage to the starter. So I just took the mounting bolts out, and I've gone ahead and started sanding down on the frame. That way I can make sure I've got nice solid connection point for the grounding of that solenoid. And then I'm just going to make sure that I clean up all the terminals and get the best connections we can. So I'm gonna finish just sanding this up, and I'll get it remounted on here and show you guys that, and we'll see if we can get this thing to start firing up with the key. All right, so yeah, there's the water again. So I've got the frame cleaned up underneath of the starter solenoid, and went ahead and kind of cleaned up the connections for the positive sides as well. And you know, this mower's been sitting for a while, obviously, the mildew and everything on it, so a lot of these connections are corroded. And I did, once I got that remounted, I had the jumper pack on for a second, and I bumped the key on it, and then the gear on the starter decided to stop coming up and engaging the flywheel on here, so I had to put a little drop of oil on it, and I got that freed up now, so we should be good. Go ahead, and I'm gonna put the jumper pack back on it, and I guess we'll just go ahead and actually I'll probably just take this off. I think I can take this off and it'll still run, because I think it's just to kill the mower, basically, if you try to put it in reverse with the deck engaged. But I just want to see if we can get this up and running, and then just see if I can move it forward and back and engage the deck and see how that goes. So maybe I'll just toss that plate back on. Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of loosely put the plate back on. I'll put the jumper pack on it real quick. We'll get it fired up. Hopefully I can get it running long enough to just move it back and forth here a little bit, and see if we can get the deck engaged. And we'll probably wrap it up after that for this video. That way we're just kind of getting the electrical out of the way, seeing if this thing is even gonna move or deck's gonna engage. And then if everything goes according to plan, then the next video we'll start tidying this mower up a little bit, getting things cleaned up and checking blades and all that good stuff. So all right, let me get the jumper pack hooked up and we'll see what we can do with this. All right, if we can if I can get this up running long enough, we'll just go ahead and test and see if everything works on it, and then we'll probably just shut it down from there. But we should be good. I did get that choke freed up like I was telling you guys, and just see what happens. Probably have to run it full choke. Alright, well there it is, guys. I may have to adjust the audio on this because I did notice in my last video audio was kind of all over the place a little bit as far as it was quiet, and I know this thing is super loud. It's missing a one of the exhaust bolts and the gasket's blown out, but I do have another exhaust gasket for it, and I'll see if I can find a bolt to fit. But that's super exciting. So we got it going. I have a carburetor ordered for it, so that should be in this next week. And let's see, got so we'll have the carb, kind of get everything sort of buttoned up on it. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up, and so I think, yeah, we'll get oil change, check the blaze. I'll probably put a little ATF in the back tires. I think I told you guys in the first video that we really weren't holding air, but after I aired them up a second time, this one's been holding for about 3 days now, and this one's getting pretty soft. But I think if I put a little ATF in these, they'll hold up just fine. But we'll get this thing cleaned up and oil changed and pretty much serviced, and see how well we can get this thing looking and performing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know I didn't go super in depth as far as the electrical troubleshooting, but this one wasn't too complicated. The harness on this older mower is a little bit easier than some of the newer stuff. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm excited to see it moving back and forth, and so it seems like transmission sounds good. I didn't hear anything going on with it. It was smooth. I was just kind of struggling because I have that plate where the gear selector is loose, so it was just hard for me to find the gear. And yeah, other than that, and the deck engage sounded good. I had tested the spindles by hand before, and they were super smooth, so I figured they would work well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to sum it up for today. I really appreciate you guys checking out the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right.